Okay. 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 We're here. How you doing, everybody? We are live for the final hour of trading this week. Friday, December the 10th. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have 1 hour left to go. What's going to happen in the markets? We've got the Dow was up in the morning, down in the afternoon, or late morning, then came on. Now it's kind of up 100 points, but we're not going anywhere. The S&P is up 24. And Nasdaq is up 33 points. The big winner is the S&P 500 with a half a percentage point gain for the day. That's it. Zero point 0.2 on Nasdaq and 0.29 on the Dow. The market, I don't think, wants to really knows either. I don't think the market knows where it's headed today. Someone asked me yesterday a question, and I just was thinking about it, and I had answered it, and then I thought about it again today, and I thought I'd mention something to you guys. Somebody asked me yesterday, "Hey Bruce, were you ever taken out by a client or in your career that where they were trying to impress you with the place they took you kind of thing?" And I think I answered that question. I know I answered the question with a story about how, as a manager, I would occasionally surprise my staff members. They wouldn't know who, when, or why. I would just come up to staff members, say, "You're coming with me right now. We're going out for breakfast," or I need you to come with me for a couple of minutes, and then we just walk out of the office. They have no idea what's going on, and I would, I would take I would take someone to a nice restaurant around the place we worked, and we'd have a bite to eat and just a cup of coffee and just chat, and they'd love it. They just this is great, totally unexpected. They never could never figure me out sometimes. Anyway, I have another little story for you. I'm going to bring this one to you. This is a story about, and I bet you many of you have your own stories in your lifetime through your experience. This might resonate with a bunch of you out there, and that is um, not necessarily where you're going or anything like that. It's a story about, yeah. We had a staff get together that was planned. It was either a Christmas party, an event of some kind, like in Calgary, where I was. We had the Calgary Stampede every year, and things happened. That's how it starts. And it's just coming to mind. I have a number of them coming to mind right now. And one of the most revealing things about being employed with a company is when you are in a situation where you're in a social setting and where people let their hair down, let their guard down, and they become more themselves rather than the facade that they have at the office. And that happened to me. That I got to see firsthand on a number of occasions, because I'm not much of an alcohol drinker. I remember when I first became a broker, trying to fit in with the office and the successful stockbrokers that I was surrounded by. These guys were going out for cocktails at lunchtime, and they'd have a couple of Ryan Cokes or vodkas or whatever during lunch, and they'd come back feeling pretty good in the afternoon. And I remember for about 3 or 4 months, I was sort of joining in on this routine where I would have a Seagram's VO and Coke at lunch with a steak sandwich at restaurant whatever, because I was all of a sudden making 1979. I'm making the equivalent of, like, in today's money, like $200,000 a year, and I'm 24. I'm 23, 24 years old, and so to spend to drop 15, $20 on lunch was no big deal. Have a drink or two and have a steak sandwich and tell war stories with your fellow employees or what have you. Anyway, I cut that out very quickly because I just found that I wasn't feeling too well. After a while, I was gaining ungodly amounts of weight for my young frame, and I went to a doctor's appointment for just a checkup, and the doctor said to me, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 24." Put me on the weigh scale, and he had me at 220 when I was usually 180. I'd gained 40 pounds, and it was all from just enjoying life in its finest. And I thought, I got to stop this. He said, you may want to cut back. So I just found that I didn't want to drink alcohol anymore because it just in the afternoons I just didn't feel sharp anymore. And I noticed around the office some of the guys were kind of bloated looking, and I thought I'm not going down this road. And so within 6 months, I lost about 30 pounds, and I was back to this 180, 190 range, which I was much more comfortable with. And at being 4'8", that's carrying a lot of weight at 4'8", as you can imagine. Anyway, interesting. Anyway, going forward now, I remember going to these functions, company functions. And when I first started going to them, I was only the employee. I was just a junior employee. But later in my brokerage career, I was the boss. I was the number one guy. And I would be I would be the one who would be the host of the event, and rather than just one of the attendees of said event. So I got to see the both sides of the people I was in business with. And I'm sure many of you out there have had war stories to tell, and stories, maybe you've events that have happened that you want to forget about, at the office party, or a Christmas get together at a neutral location that husbands and wives were now brought out to, and then the libations began to flow, and people got to be really happy and loosey good, and then inappropriate things started to happen. Inappropriate things were said, and certain supervisors remembered certain things said at parties, and then there were the inevitable parting of the ways shortly thereafter of certain people from certain organizations because of how it went. And I remember so many shenanigans going on in those years. But most of them I remember before I was the host. When I was the host of a Christmas party for my office, my objective in life was to have the entire thing over with within 2.5 hours. It would be like 30, 45 minutes of schmoozing and having a cocktail and just mingling the crowd. Then we have our formal sit down, and I'll give a little spiel at the, to the group and thank everybody for coming out and enjoy. Then the meal would come out, which would be more or less preordained. And, we'd eat, and then the courses of the food would come along, and there'd be wine at the dinner, and I would try to keep it organized with my personnel to, just a drink before dinner, some wine at dinner, and then maybe one drink after that, a little dessert, and then there might have been some music for an hour or so, and then it's kind of over as people sort of filter out. Whereas events that I had been to as an employee, where the bosses didn't control it really carefully, it would be an hour and a half of drinking before the meal started. So you already had 2 belts, if not 3 belts in you before the food arrived. Then you weren't all that hungry, you didn't give a crap, and you certainly didn't enjoy the meal that was lovingly figured out for you. And you didn't want wine, just want another scotch. And after the meal was over, now certain individuals would be a little more emboldened to approach other individuals to perhaps, get together. And the inhibitions be damned, Coyote. Exactly. That would happen. And the inappropriate things would happen. Entertaining from a junior employee point of view, because you're just sitting there like a fly in the wall watching what's going on here. And I'm drinking caffeine. I'm drinking my Diet Coke in those days. And I'm just watching what's happening and remembering it all. Oh, but organizations would fall apart with that kind of behavior. They would just fall, they would disintegrate. And it was bad news. And I remember a number of times where I would just go home that night and shake my head, and I'd be disappointed in my superiors. I would be disappointed in their behavior and the way they conducted themselves. And I thought, this is not as professional a company as perhaps I think, or these folks here are just not as... the facade they put on at the office isn't working for me anymore. I now know the true versions of these people, and inevitably I wouldn't be hanging around with them very long, because now I would voluntarily want to move on. Amazing stuff, just amazing stuff. But anyway, it's interesting how over the years I remember so many of these different events, and how they. The egos would just come out, and the pettiness would come out, and just the flaws would be visible for all to see, and it was surprising. Anyway, those are days and times. I try to avoid these kinds of events. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to be part of this. I didn't want to be, I just didn't want to partake in that kind of stuff. And I just really, um, my time is my precious time alone, my own time, with Jen and I or with our daughter, family, just, recover and get ready for the next, get ready for the next day at work, because the stress alone to come back to work and face the market head on with 200 to 300 accounts that you had to maintain and monitor was really tough work. And you had to be on your mental game to really handle it. And you cannot come back to work with a hangover and expect to have a good day. You're gonna be in a grind. But anyway, yeah, those were the days where inhibitions and everything else would happen. I remember once I wanted to have a middle of the summer event of some kind to break up the monotony of the office. I didn't want to just have a Christmas party once a year for the office. So one of the brokers in the firm, he was a real aficionado of horse racing. He was really into horse racing, and he knew trainers, owners, jockeys. He was deep into the game of horse racing, and I talked to him one day about an idea about why don't we have an office outing on a Thursday night or something at our Calgary Exhibition Stampede racetrack, and we'll reserve some club seats, and then we'll have dinner and some drinks, and kids can wager all they want, have some fun, and he helped me set it up, and we arranged for, I think, 40 of us, 40 or 50 of us. We grabbed a whole section of spots in the clubhouse. It was a really good time. We all had a really good time. 10 races, and everyone was, betting against each other, and $2 bets were the minimum, I think, at the time you could do, and it was fun. Everybody could afford 10, $20 to play, unless they wanted to bet hundreds, and some bet more than they should. But it was a good time, and it really lifted the atmosphere of the office for weeks after. It really, the gang was in a social setting, but we weren't there to drink. We weren't there to get blitzed. We were there to enjoy this event, and it turned out to be a real positive team building environment. And it wasn't, there was no one person against another person. It wasn't like we had baseball teams against each other or anything like that. We were all cheering on our favorite horses 10 times in a row for the evening, and it was kind of fun. And I heard for days afterward, people come up to me and say, "Oh, that was a really good time. My wife really enjoyed that last night," or when we did that. And so I knew we were on the right track. It's really important to team build at the office if there's a way you can. And I do respect organizations that try to find unique ways to team build, where it involves the employees, and perhaps it can involve the spouses. And if it could involve somehow the entire family, even better, because then everyone's on their best behavior, because the women and children are there, kind of thing. But that one you have to be delicate about. You have to be careful about. And of course, in today's world, it's completely changed. I mean, I'm talking about what we were doing in the 80s, 70s and 80s. In today's world, it's a whole lot different, and it has become so difficult to just hang out with people. I mean, just to be, and if anyone becomes themselves, oh well, they're politically inappropriate, and off it goes. And it's a different world in which we live. And of course, with COVID right now, all bets are off about everything. There you have it. Thank you for popping in and seeing me tonight. We've got the final 45 minutes to go here. Just watching the final trades go through to see who's doing what's doing what, as we come into the last of the day before options expire. Taking a look right now at Rocket Lab. It's a holding 23-cent gain. It's been consistently higher all day today. A couple of times it's backed off a bit, but 12.76 up 23 cents. The stock's only trading in a 53-cent range. 2.1 million traded, almost 2.2 million. It's up 23 cents to 12.76. Okay. SoFi is consistently been down today. 14.95 right now. 34.9 million. We're off 71 cents. The low 14.87. And I don't have a single reason to point at to tell you why. GameStop down 508 at 150.68. The low was 148 around 11 o'clock this morning. That's now 4 hours ago. I think that's all the down pressure we're going to get today, from what I can tell. 3.6 million traded, a little bit of turnover, but I think just bargain hunters coming in here, kind of picking off the stock bit by bit. Whatever's for sale seems to be scooped up right now. Matterport, 23.31 down $1.23. It had a nice opening at 25.53. That was the initial trade. $2.20 ago, that meant we were up $1.20 to start the day, or about $1 to start the day, and we couldn't hold it at all. And within 30 minutes, we were already off just about where were we at? 23.50. We lost $2 in 30 minutes, and ever since, we have not been able to get back to where we were, and we're now lower than that at 23.30, down 124. 4.2 million traded today. And we're just kind of just flatlining now, coming out for the last hour. It would appear anyway. 23andMe is 805, down 30 cents. Volume of 984,000 shares. The low was $8. That was just a few moments ago. No news on this on the stock. No, nothing. The week. We were as low this week as about 760, 734 on Monday. Then we topped out. It looks like on the 9th, that's yesterday, we topped out at 876 or so. Now we're at 802. So we're up on the week, but we haven't had a major run this week. We seem to have stabilized, though, from backing off lately. I guess that's all the only good news I can give you. Spire up 3 cents to 4.28. The shares earlier this week, looks like on Tuesday, they reached about 450 for that long. Can't make it any louder than that today. There's nothing there. It had no pizzazz. 425, 430, 440 all week long, more or less. We've been waiting and we're anticipating, and we're seeing news announcements come out, and they're making a deal with their satellite launches. They're getting approvals. They're cutting deals. They've closed their acquisition. Everything is positive. Everything corporately, on the corporate side, everything is working out. These guys are busy people. That's a little louder, but we're not getting any stock reaction. We're just not getting the follow through from the market. 481,000 traded, up 3 cents today. There is no bloodbath going on. It's not like the stock is going to drop to zero. It's not happening. But we have not got a serious amount of buying power coming in here at this point. And I'm just sitting here going, whenever you're ready, guys, because I'm more than happy to keep, spreading word how great things are. But at the moment, it's quiet. The last 2 days, I will admit that the market has been sort of consolidating its gains from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the big market, and maybe the mood just isn't there for investment dollars to find something new to jump into. And at this week, Spire is not attracting a lot of buying. The selling is over, but the buying isn't coming up at the moment. It's a saw-off. ATIP, we're down 7 cents right at the moment. We were at 378 for the high. Today we're now 362. We traded 279,000 shares, and we have no volume today to get excited about. We have no news either. SmartRent up a nickel to 11.16. 559,000 shares. That seems to have improved a bit. Actually, it's had an okay week. We started the week on Monday at about 9.60 a share, and now we're at 11.16. So $1.50 better for the week, and it's been very steady now since Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Since Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've been in this 11 range to 11.20 range. holding our own quite steadily here without it's just plateauing across. It's just going right across 1116. Xterra, 1074 at the moment, up 24 cents. They got a buy recommendation today. Initially, initiating coverage is Truist with a call to a target price of $15. 24-cent gain today. On Monday, the shares were at about 980, 990 or so. Call it $10, and now 1074. The all-time high, $12. The all-time low, $750. Volume today, 241,000 shares. AMC under pressure. Word has come out that the CEO and other senior officers are selling stock of AMC. They are selling their shares. Now, they're not selling every single share they have. They're selling some of their stock. The word is that whatever commentary is coming out from individuals or the company is more like this had been disclosed already, or this had been indicated that this would happen. It's not a surprise. It's not a change in plan. And then when it came to the chief executive officer, the top guy, the word there is that being 67 years of age, the moves he is making are being described as financial planning moves. You know what that means to me in plain English when I read between the lines? This guy's going to quit. This guy is going to leave the company within a year. He won't be there anymore. And he's dumping the stock now while he can, and he's cashing in while it's still alive. And I hate to be so brutal about it, but hey, if your stock is cheap, you don't want to sell it. If you think the stock is priced up, you get out. Why would the CEO of the company dump AMC when it's 26, 27 bucks a share, not at 70? It's because he thinks it's going lower. He's got the vibe, and I don't think he has a future there much longer. I think it's not that he's going to be fired. I think he's going to quit. He can't sell any more stock to raise any more cash to save the company. The shareholders revolt whenever he suggests, we should sell some AMC stock to pay off our debt. We can knock our bankers off. That'll reduce our payments and our loan interest, freeing up cash flow to expand or fix up theaters and market ourselves, something else. The shareholders don't want to have him dilute the company anymore, and so it's a slow death for both sides. It's like it's two snakes. They've started at each other's tails and are eating each other, and sooner or later, there ain't not a lot left. And we're at 27 bucks right now, down 246 on AMC. The low was 26 today. 52 million shares, and on the outside looking in, analysts around the world are looking at AMC going, if the CEO is selling down here a whole bunch of his paper, what does that tell you? I've been around too long to know. It ain't good news. I'll tell you that. Robinhood down 190, trading at $20.02. This stock is about to break under 20 and stay under 20. It's headed for $5. If you want my personal opinion, Robinhood stock is heading for penny stock status. That's where it's going. This company is bleeding money like you can't believe, facing dozens and dozens of lawsuits all over the place. These guys are doomed. They do not have enough earnings from their users to cover the losses that they're incurring. It costs them business to allow you to trade on their platform for free. It costs them money, and you cannot not make them money for them. They just won't stick around. They can't stick around. It doesn't work. You have to have more money coming in than you're spending. This is really simple math, really simple business talk, okay? Like with stocks, more sellers versus buyers, stocks go down. More buyers versus sellers, stocks go up. Real estate, housing prices, your neighborhood. More people want to move into your neighborhood, your house prices go higher. More people want to get out of your neighborhood, house values go lower. This is really 101 stuff I'm talking about here. And on Robinhood right now, we're at 1996, and they're getting out. People are getting out. The high on this stuff, $85 a share was the all-time high. And someone out there has the dubious distinction of this being the buyer of this stuff at 85 a share within the first couple of days of listing. Someone did it, and there were a lot of people. And I mean, maybe hundreds of thousands of innocent victim investors who paid between 70 and 85 a share for this garbage. And they were hyped into it. I don't know how the promotion went, but this IPO was a farce. The company should never have been allowed to go public. The SEC just allowed it to happen. And yet the SEC is all over SPACs. Like they're like, oh, SPACs are dangerous for investors. What about this piece of crap? At 1998 a share. How much of this garbage do you want? It is ridiculous. They lose nothing but money. They can't break even. They're losing users. Their user counts are dropping because other platforms are either better or have more services, whatever the issue is. And I hear all the time from so many of you the kind of problems you're having with these guys. The 800 help number and everything. It's ridiculous. Anyway, 1998 on Robinhood, and it's gonna keep going down. Vanek Vector's up $1.44, $307 a unit for that ETF. Home Depot up $2.94. I just heard before coming on the air here with you that there was an article written somewhere, some kind of a, I don't even know if it's a news article. It might have been more of a government survey of some kind to do with how many ships are sitting off the coast of Los Angeles and Long Beach, waiting to offload their containers. And the number was released, and apparently it was down from recent counts. And the spin that was being put on it by probably administration officials, not knowing the truth, is they were spinning that this is good news. Hey, the number of ships are down off of Long Beach and off of Los Angeles and so on. But now today we hear the reality. The reason for that count being lower is because there are now container ships as far as 25 miles off the coast of the United States, still in international waters, now parked there trying to get in. And they can't get in because there's no berthing room available, place to hang out in the harbor in the bay in Los Angeles and Long Beach and other places. And the ships are now being forced to stay further out. It's a nightmare. And then I heard another comment was something like, there are so many empty containers in the port of Long Beach and Los Angeles, empty containers that have already been empty. These came in full, went inland, got unloaded, now are empty, being brought back, supposed to go on ships to go back to Asia to get reloaded. There are so many empty containers that the ports haven't got enough room to bring in the new containers full of stuff, and they don't have any empty ships to haul in. A lot of ships offload and leave. They don't even wait to get empty containers because they're being told you have to wait a week or two to be loaded up with empty containers. And these guys are saying, screw this. I'm going back to Hong Kong empty. I'll just go and get another load of containers and bring it back. This has been going on for months. It seems like hundreds of ships are needed to take the empties away. And it's kind of like your house and my house, You remember as kids when we used to have glass bottles all the time and we had to save the empties? You remember all the empties that would pile up in the house? And then once in a while, Dad would have enough and go, all right, that's it. We're taking the empties back. The car would be loaded to the max. And you'd go with your dad to the recycle place and watch all the money they're giving him. Well, it's bad news at the ports. They got to get rid of these containers, and they're just choking in them. They are choking in empty containers, and there are full containers on ships, hundreds and hundreds of them. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. So I'm looking at Home Depot here and going, oh yeah, you're up 296 today. That's great. But I got to wonder if you guys have a reckoning coming. I hope not. I mean, Home Depot's one of my picks, one of the stocks I'd like you to look at. But I wonder if they've got a reckoning coming in the spring and summer with this constant backlog just piling up and piling up. I really wonder. IBM up only 20 cents, by the way. It was up over 125 today. It was 125.30. The stock now 123.77. So YBM has given it all back. The Dow is up 151, S&P up 32, Nasdaq up 62 points. Oil is up 97 bucks, 97 cents a barrel. Microsoft holding an $8 gain this morning or this afternoon at $341. It did touch almost 343 earlier today. Apple up 349 to 178.04. I've been predicting that this would be topped out. I kind of thought around 171 to 75. This could be kind of a top out for Apple, but no, I'm wrong. Apparently, the market wants to buy Apple, even up here. I'm just going, really, a $31 gain in a month on this stock. I don't know what Apple has done in the last month to justify this valuation. 20% gain of a $2.6 trillion company. But there it is. It's trading at 178.12. They're trading now 31.7 times PE multiple. Very high PE multiple. It should be more in the mid to low 20s, but it's up there. People want to pay up for it. Microsoft trading at 38 times earnings. By the way, that's getting kind of ridiculous for Microsoft. IBM, 23.4. So there's a stock still reasonably priced. Tesla up $12 to 1,016. Apparently, Musk reports are coming out. He keeps on selling. But the market just takes it on. I heard also today that the insiders of Google have sold over $60 billion of their stock in the last couple of months. Insiders of Google, senior management. Interesting. Bed Bath & Beyond down 149, BlackBerry down 24. Royal Caribbean up 81 cents. It's turned around from a loss. They were down to 73.50, now 75.53. Not going anywhere. I mean, the stock's a little better, but it's not going anywhere. Goldman Sachs down 565 to 390.84, trading at a multiple of 6.4 times earnings is what the stock is trading at. That is such a bargain. It's incredible. Amazon down $48, Facebook down $1.13, Google up $8.21. Target down a nickel, more JP Morgan down 76. Costco is up today $33.58 to $557.91. That is today's price. That is a shocking move. Costco trades at 49.5 times earnings. There is no way in hell, no way, not a chance. It'll never happen. They can't do it. They can't double their earnings from one year to another. They can't do it. It's physically impossible to be done, because that would mean that every one of us that shops at Costco would have to leave the store with 2 shopping carts full of stuff. Every one of us, in order for these guys to double the kind of money they're making. And it cannot happen. It is not going to be done. So this stock is way out there. It's up there, and I don't understand it. Walmart is trading at 49.5 times earnings. Ridiculous. That is overpriced. So if there's a correction coming in the market, I kind of know where I see it. Some of these multiples are telling me it might be a little overpriced. 59.17 now on Cisco, 22 times earnings. That's reasonable, quite reasonable actually. And they're earning their way to this stock price. Their earnings justify the stock, but Walmart, Costco, their earnings do not justify these prices. NVIDIA, 301.80 down 310, trading at 92 times earnings. Think there's a lower value there? Might be. Interesting markets going on here. American Airlines down 12 cents to 18.02. We've got Moderna down $17 to 255. Intel up 10 cents to 50.58. It's trading at 9.81 times earnings, and the street doesn't like the stock. The street's wrong. The street's got the wrong thing going on. You're into Microsoft and Apple at 30 plus earnings, and this is at 9. I think you got it mixed up a little bit. You buy low, you sell high. You don't buy high and not like low. It's kind of weird. Anyway, Micron trading at 16.6 times earnings at 85.41. It's up 48 cents today. Boeing is trading at 205 a share, down 238. They're having all kinds of logistical problems here. The company is having 787 issues. They're still trying to get the 737 Max licensed everywhere and allowed to fly everywhere, costing them just billions in regulatory fees and filing fees and licensing fees and testing fees and on it goes. This is a company that is not running on all cylinders, and apparently the morale on the shop floor is not good in Everett, Washington. It is not good at all, and I can see why. I can tell you exactly why Boeing is having problems. Boeing is having the kind of problems that a company has when they are trying to, how do I tell you this in a gentle English kind of way, pretty simple English kind of way. The bottom line is this: Boeing was trying to show Wall Street that they can make all kinds of money, and they were trying to please the analysts with performance, financial performance, rather than stick to their knitting, which was and should have been build the best planes possible in the world with your core workforce that can deliver the goods on a quality product. But what they did was, starting 20 years ago, they started playing the let's keep the analyst happy game, which is now costing them dearly today. And that game is, well, we'll open up a new factory to build the 787 aircraft and the 777, these new planes. We're going to build those in union-free states, the Carolinas. We're gonna now open up factories where we don't have to have the same unions that we deal with in Washington, in Everett. And on the surface, it sounds like a great idea. It's a genius move because you completely eliminate the power of the union over your management discussions and contract discussions. The bad news is that you now have to hire people who've never built planes before in Carolina, and you've upset the folks in Everett, and now your home plant, the efficiency goes down because the union guys are going to get lazier and not be as motivated because they know the future. There is no future for them. The future for them is as soon as they age out, the Boeing keeps cutting back Everett and expands elsewhere where there's non-unions. And so the company never makes more money. It just doesn't perform as well, and that eats it alive. By the way, GameStop is up 75 cents. Just to let you know, we have shot up from about $148 a share at 246 to now in 40 minutes to be at 156.54. We're up 79 cents on GameStop right now on the day. The stock has had a real price surge, 157.01 on GameStop right now. I don't know the reason. I'm telling you what I'm seeing. 157.01 on GameStop, up $1.25 right now. The high of the day was in the opening at 162. When we started the day off, we had started at 162. And that's what's going on there. Boeing, to get back to them just quickly, they moved their head office from Seattle to Chicago. Income tax reasons. Totally showing, again, the Seattle region where that company was founded, that management is walking from the head office. This is the death knell of motivation and loyalty to the firm. And these guys, these guys who are running this company, they don't own the company. They are only the managers of the company. And they're now totally out of touch with their production floors. They're totally out of touch with what's happening at Seattle and what's happening elsewhere because they're in Chicago and they don't get it. They think they get it. They think they're doing a great job. They're showing Wall Street, we're making all the moves to make more money for the shareholders. And they're blowing it. They're completely blowing it, and the stock is reflecting it, and the quality of the product is reflecting it, and their street cred is shot. A Boeing aircraft is just another jet maker, and the company is dysfunctional. Generally speaking, it's dysfunctional. They're going after government contracts, of course, for space exploration and military and all this stuff. But this company has no soul anymore, has no core values anymore. It's gone. It's all shot. And the only way to get it back is you basically consolidate the company from where you came from. But they're not going to do that present day management because that would admit defeat. And so the bleeding continues. And there you go. GameStop, 157.56 now, still surging nicely here. I don't have a reason for it. We've traded 4 million shares. It's not like we're doing a million an hour, nothing like that. I don't think I've got any kind of news release anywhere. I'm looking and don't see anything. No announcement. There's no, and you've been asking me all day today, hey, you think I should should I write some new calls now on GameStop? I bought back my old calls. Should I write some new calls? And I've been saying, hold off until Monday. Just hold up. Yeah. Well, this is exactly why. We're now 159.27. We're going to let this thing figure itself out. The low today was 148. Now it's 159. It's $11 higher. Let's let the stock make a run today and then open Monday. Show me something. Is there an announcement? You got to say something, Mr. Cohen? You got news for us? Let us know. Hit us with your best shot. The other thing I've been thinking of is sooner or later this stock will run out of gas on the way down, and then it'll turn quickly because the bargain hunters are coming in here. Well, here we go. Here it is. So those of you who are thinking of writing options, you could have been looking at writing 150s or 155s the way this was looking an hour ago. Now all of a sudden you're going, oh, geez, I might be writing 165s, 170s. And we open up at 165, 170 Monday morning. You might be looking at 180, 85s. Show a whole different ball game than writing 150s and 155s. Let's stick around and see what it brings us. Okay, that's what we're seeing. Nice to see some green, I guess. We're up 265 now. 284 at 158.60, I guess. SoFi still down 72 cents. Matterport still down $1.23. ME down 29. Spire's up a penny. ATIP down 9 cents. SmartRent up 2. Cyxtera up 27 cents. AMC is a little better. It got as low as $26. It's $27.36, but it is still got this cloud hanging over it now. There's this dark cloud overhead. What if it's possible that the CEO of AMC hands in his resignation in the next 2 to 3 weeks and says, hey, by the end of March, I'm out of here. It's been a great ride. It's been an honor working with you all. What happens if that happens? Because who's going to take this thing over? And why would anyone take over AMC as the head guy, head girl, and be immediately handcuffed by not being able to raise money? How's this going to happen? They can't raise a dime from the banks. They're into the banks all the way. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It can't be good. That's I guess my my theme on AMC. It can't be good. 159.09 now on GameStop. 325 gain right at the moment on the shares of GameStop. So something's going on. Welcome, simpletons, to the party. Nice to have you here for the last now 17 minutes. I don't know what the deal is happening, but what's going on exactly on GameStop, but it is moving and I'm happy to see it. I do not know what the deal is. Okay. Let's go. Folks have been, Ryan here, Dan Hammer, Ryan Cohen tweeted something mindless again and it popped. There you go. It wouldn't take much for the stock to pop. When it's oversold, it's oversold. I don't know. SoFi, $14.94, still under $15. We'll see what's happening here. Okay. Wow. Yeah, what's cooking? Wendy says GE is up or GameStop is up because Ryan Cohen tweeted 45 minutes ago. Let's see. Let's see. What's it? I would take over AMC if I could. GameStop is up because Ryan Cohen tweeted 45 minutes ago. There, where we get that comment again. Yeah, we just got, SoFi's down, Matterport's down. I don't have a good reason either. I don't know. AMC has so much potential beyond movies and popcorn. Good luck on that one. Whiskey, of course. I don't know what people are talking about here. Rocket Lab up a quarter. SoFi at $14.96, down 69 cents. GameStop 158 58 or so. Matterport 23.25 down 129. ME down 27 cents. Spire unchanged. ATIP down 9 cents at 359. SmartRent up 3. Cyxtera up 27 cents. The Dow coming into the last 15 minutes now, up 189 points, and that's climbing towards the high of the day on the Dow. S&P up 37 and NASDAQ up 82. The leader of the market today is the S&P at 0.8%, and followed right behind followed by Dow NASDAQ at 0.54%, just over half a percentage point gain. They're about to equal on that right now. We got that kind of action going on. 158.62 now on GameStop. 158.62. Up 286 from about 148 a share. Ballpark 148, 149 a share, 150 a share is where we were about an hour ago. And now it's popping up and threatening to hit 160. I don't know if there's any more to this. This may simply be a knee-jerk dead cat bounce reaction or a quick snapback rally reaction on the day only. I think a lot of folks out there probably just do not want to be in it. How's that? They don't not want to have GameStop going into the weekend. They're afraid that maybe something will be said or speculated on, and come Monday morning, the stock could pop right to 170, 75 in the first 30 minutes, and they don't want to miss it. Maybe that's the thinking of these investors. I can say there doesn't seem to be any announcement on the stock being issued at this time. So there you have it. Bruce, I have recently sold some December 10, 185 strike puts. Sold puts. Rolled them into February 175s for a 23.50 net credit. Is this a good move? Seems good after this, but it's a brilliant move. Fantastic move. I say way to go. Absolutely way to go. You got the extra credit right in your hand right now. Now the stock is moving, and if it does a bounce here to the 175, 180 level, you're laughing. I mean, you are laughing with this thing. So yeah, it's at the moment, Sean, way to go. And let's see how it runs for you. Hey, I went to do some caulking, and I came back with the GameStop $10 higher. This stock, man, geez, what is with this stock? Rob, hey, this is a family show. You and your caulking, CAULKING. Hey, let's see. GameStop needs to do a pop of $50. A Cohen tweet just doesn't cut it anymore. Come on, Mr. Cohen, you can do better than that. Mirko, hi, Uncle B. I wrote 3 puts on ME today for January, strike 750 at 89 cents, and 1 put on SoFi for $15 for 2 weeks. Any thoughts? Yeah, you can make some money on those. ME, so yeah, you could make some money on those. That's pretty cool. Rob, over 3 million volume on GameStop for 2 days consecutive. Haven't seen that in a while. I agree, Rob. I agree, but I think that's mainly because of the drop off in price with that earnings thing. I guess there were probably a lot of disappointed people. The earnings call people. We may have had a lot. We may have had a number. I don't know about a lot. But we may have had a fair number of investors, gamblers, jumping into GameStop a month ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, before the earnings, and they ran it up to that 250 level twice, waiting for something big to happen. Nothing big happened. The earnings came out, nothing burger. Now they're blown out got blown out for Wednesday or Thursday morning, all day yesterday. Now again. And they're gone, and now the stock is popping back up again. That could be the whole extent of it. I don't know. I was hoping for the tweet was good for another $10, says anti-PC. Sean, thanks, Bruce. Getting the hang of rolling contracts. Feels weird to buy back at a loss. Wall Street Journal, inflation is here, 40-year high. Yeah, SoFi broke back about 1503. My hands are sticky from the caulking. Let's see if it reads this one. See if he reads this. DM Uncle Bruce, the buy and sell ratio for GameStop on Fidelity and other brokerages are over 90% buy to 10% sell in the last 2 days. You have to start discussing the algo shorting and stop pretending it's retail selling. I have to just stop pretending. I've got to pay attention to stuff. I just noticed the stock's up, so there must be more buying going on. SoFi 1505, a little better, 158.49 on GameStop. Matterport still down 110 at 23.44. ME still down 29 cents to 806. Spire up a half a penny. ATIP down a dime. SmartRent up 2 cents. Sixter up 27. No, not much else going on here. Inflation is actually 6.9, but didn't want people making jokes. Broke back better is working out great. Laughing out loud. Oh boy. Coyote, what do you think of writing covered calls on GameStop at this price, Uncle Bruce? Feel like this might be a little too low. Yeah, it might be a little too low, Coyote. I agree with that. 400 viewers and 129 thumbs ups. That's all Bruce is getting today. Well, they don't like the way I, tell my stories, I guess. 132 now, though. So 3 more people like what I'm talking about, I guess. Thank you for the thumbs ups, everybody. Every one of those, appreciate them. 158.40 on your GameStop. There it is. It's up a little, but not up a lot. Not up a lot. Okay, Uncle Bruce, today buy orders are 94.16 and sell orders are 9.39 on Fidelity. Isn't that amazing? Let's see here. Michael Austin, SoFi over 15. We just can't win, bro. Let's just hope that this was the last time ME was under 8 and SoFi was under 15 ever. AMC has potential in the theaters, lectures, or sporting events, video game tournaments, or events. Things out of the box. Let me tell you a little story about a theater. I wanted to do a meet and greet, as you know, in Ontario. We're doing the meet and greet tomorrow at the Outback Steakhouse, and I was arranging a venue to hold the event, and I was looking at the Regal Theater, and I had talked to the Regal Theater, and I had been given a quote for a theater, one of the theaters in this Regal Theater, and the cost was so prohibitively high that it isn't worth it unless I have 300 or 400 people come out for a meet and greet. And I don't want to do a meet and greet for 400 people, because how can I possibly spend 2 minutes with you folks, with each of you, and have 800 minutes of time? It's impossible. It's impossible. And so it became apparent to Jen and I when we announced the meet and greet. There was interest in the meet and greet, but not 400 people. But we had no idea for sure what was going to happen. But I was relieved not to have it in the theater, because it is a distance away. It is a bit impersonal. But the cost of one of the larger theaters, if you wanted to book one of their larger theaters, you're talking about a $5,000 cost for a couple of hours of one of their theaters. And I know for a fact they don't generate that kind of money when they sell tickets to a movie. And I'm talking about using their theater when they're not showing movies, like, really, really early. So the kind of quotations that I was given were so incredibly high that it has completely shot that out of the realm of possibility for this YouTuber. And I can understand why no other YouTubers would have a meet and greet at a movie theater if those kinds of quotes are going on. AMC cannot even think of doing that getting those kinds of prices. They're not going to get those kinds of prices. Certainly not like someone like myself. Now, if I was running a corporation and I wanted to have 500 of my key employees at an event, I wouldn't do it at a movie theater. I would rent a convention room at either a convention center or a hotel that has room for up to 2,000 people and only use 500, space for 500. A professionally run spot like that with a lot of lighting and audio and everything else figured out. And it would run 10, 20 grand to do it. But boy, for a YouTuber like me, impossible. So these theaters, AMC, they're not going to get corporate America in there to do shows and anything like that. I don't see it. I did that to buy another beaten down stocks at bargain prices. Also during GameStop returned to 220, says Coyote. What are we saying? Thank you, nephew Nick. Let's see. The Jen Jr. arrives. Jen Jr. arrives. She's here. It's all good. Brandon says, Bruce, I love these stories. Everyone probably got margin called this week, and they're trying to get back in. Maybe that happened, says Joshua. Uncle Bruce, so I felt like I had to do something and reposition in order to get more SoFi. Sold 20% of my Spire at a loss, all my Matterport at a loss, 10% of my Rocket Lab at a profit, and now I have 50% more in SoFi. Interesting. Whatever you think you have to do, but I can guarantee you that when you sell stocks at losses, you've locked them in, and there will be no gains now if they go higher. But hey, if SoFi goes to the stratosphere as you want it to, and I hope it does, it's all good. It'll be all good, but I don't know. 158.58 on GameStop, up 282. SoFi right now is 1502. Uncle Bruce, do you think it was a good move, or am I a moron for doing this? Like I said, I just answered the question. It's totally your call. You gotta kind of figure it out for yourself. Lighten up, Uncle Bruce. Have you heard of this new ETF called Meme? It has 25 stocks, including SoFi, which I hate being lumped in because it adds a ting. No, I don't know if I have. I haven't paid attention to it. If the name has come across my my screen, so no idea what it is. Jim punchlines, please, because that's all AMC and Hunt they can afford. Cheryl is giving me 165 and smiling. Okay. If AMC and Hunt went to a bar, they'd have to have someone else buy them drinks. I think it's Friday afternoon. I think I'm getting the vibe here right now. Let's see. It's the weekend. Likes for Uncle Bruce. Give him thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody. Let's see. What else is going on here? Thank you. Just catching up. A lot of folks talk to each other here, so I'm just going to go through all these comments and see what's happening here. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, 1278 up a quarter on Rocket Lab. SoFi down 64 to 1502. We're at 159.32 now on GameStop, up 327. The Dow is at the high of the day, 216 with 2 minutes to go. 216-point gain. We're up 44 on S&P. We're up 107 on NASDAQ. The bond, the three big markets are at the high of the day right now. That's what we have going on. They're at their best level of the day. The oil price is up $1 a barrel to $71.96. And GameStop right now is closing in on 160 at 159.62 with about a minute and a half to go. GameStop might make the print of 160 at the end here to close out the week. We'll find out. Oh boy. Drew Nelson, a productive buying week, tucked away and ready to write covered calls. Let's go. Yep, GameStop spent 5 hours allowing everyone to reload at 150 to close at 160. 159.16 last trade. We're coming to the bell here. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, excuse me, folks. My goodness. It's been a week. I'll tell you, it's been a week. Let's see. Yeah. People talk to each other. 1502 on SoFi, 158.94 GameStop. Spire up 2.5 cents, and ATIP down 8.5. Sextera up 30 to 1080. Yeah, it's been a week. It's the understatement of the year. There you go. We are just about done here. I know Larry's about to hit that bell and tell us it's all over for the week, and the options have all expired again. Let's see. 10 seconds warning for Larry. There it is, Larry. Thanks, buddy. There it is. Larry's giving us the bells. It's official. This market is closed for another week, and a whole bunch of contracts just went gone. They're done. And now the next contracts to expire, for the most part, are next Fridays. There you go. Yeah. What can I say? Matterport closing out here 23.49. GameStop at 159.09. SoFi 15.01. The Dow up 224. S&P up 45. Nasdaq up 116. There you are. And yep, pencils down and hand in your papers. There you go. There you go. Pencils down, please. 160's out of the money. Ouch, says Coyote. SoFi above 15. And 159 exactly. So strange. Send pics from the meet and greet. Let's see. I was able to write covered calls GameStop 155, then 150, and sold, made over 50% on each. Thank you, Uncle B. There you go. Have a great weekend, Uncle B and Bagel Gang. Congrats all to the meet and greet, says Nelson. Right on, buddy. And let's see, slurp up and right down the drain right now. Yep, they're gone. Yep. Have a good meet and greet, followers. Absolutely. Yeah, 15.01 on SoFi is the final pricing there. Rocket Lab 1276 up 23. GameStop 159.09. Matterport 23.49, just under 23.50, down 105. ME $8 on the nose, down 35 cents. Spire 430 up a nickel, a little spike at the end. ATIP were down 7 cents, came back about 3-4 cents at the end of the day. Smart Rent up 7 and Cyxtera 1078 up 28 cents. Yeah. Yeah, I will buy the class in 1.5 hours. Uncle Bruce, can you please send me the video via email? I'd like to watch it this weekend. Just make your payment, and then send me an email after you get it through, and I'll if I see it through PayPal, I'll just send it to you. You'll be fine. Let's see. Once you see the payment, of course. Yeah, no problem. Very good. Let's see. Yes. I hear you, NTPC, but I'm not gonna repeat it. Don't forget to record the Yoko karaoke session in the meet and greet video, Bruce. Don't forget that part of the meet and greet show. Carol, $10 super sticker. Thank you, Carol Ovi, very much for that. Oh, man. Have fun at the meet and greet. I'm going to maintain my shady faceless lurking until the East Coast event, says Joe. Right on. And Uncle Bruce, what happened in 1982 with inflation? And why is CNBC saying now is the worst since then? Yeah, 82, we had been going through the inflation crap for now. It started in like 69, 70 already. It was already happening then. And even before that, 4, 5, 6% inflation was normal. So we were used to inflation for like 13 years already. 13, 14 years we were used to some sort of inflation. But it got ridiculous in the late 70s and 80s. And Reagan did not help matters whatsoever. Reagan completely blew the numbers out of the water with his trickle down economics. He figured that by cutting taxes for the rich back in the early 80s, it would make the poor richer, and it didn't. It didn't happen at all. And the Reagan, within he inherited a slumping economy already, and he just put fuel on the fire to just tank it. And it took until 83, 84 for the economy to turn around. He got reelected, luckily for him, because the Democrats didn't bring a pro-business type Democrat to run against him. They brought Mondale out, which was Jimmy Carter's former running mate, and that was a disaster. And so Reagan had a cakewalk in for a second term. But it was George Bush after Reagan, the George Bush, the father. he was the one that actually saved the U.S. economy to a big degree. George Bush Sr. ran on the mantra "No new taxes." Read my lips, no new taxes. That's what he said. But he couldn't not do it. He had to raise taxes. He had a disaster from the Reagan administration on his hands, an absolute economic fiasco. The U.S. deficits soared under Reagan. I mean, it was unthinkable the amount of money that the U.S. was running in deficits under Reagan. And so George came in and he had to raise taxes to stop the bleeding. I mean, it was bad. The U.S. dollar was getting pummeled. It was pretty bad stuff, and inflation was going to just go nuts in the U.S. again if George Bush could not stop the U.S. dollar from plummeting. So he raised taxes, and he negotiated it with the Congress, which was Democrat control, and they put this program in. And it was under Clinton. It took about 2 years. It was in Bush's third term. He had to do a third year of his 4-year term. He had to do this move, and of course he lost the election to Clinton because, of course, the little squawk box from Texas showed up, and that guy, that guy there, you know what I mean, You remember that guy, the independent candidate? He stole the votes from George Bush to get him reelected, and that let Clinton right in the front door, and it was in Clinton's second year and third year that the U.S. economy took off, really caught fire. And the tax revenues coming into the US Treasury were so good, so heavy, that the United States ran a surplus for the first time since the Kennedy administration. And so the United States was running a surplus in its budget under Clinton for years, a number of years. It was mainly during Clinton's second term that this was happening. And that's what got Clinton reelected. He got reelected on a strong economy. And the U.S. Treasury was bringing in so much cash that they didn't need to borrow money anymore to the same degree as before. T-bills would come up, 30-year treasuries and 10-year treasuries would mature in the Clinton era, and the Treasury would only roll over and just issue new treasuries to replace the old treasuries, but not raise more money. They didn't need more money. And then the Treasury decided to not issue 30-year notes anymore. They discontinued issuing 30-year bonds. And they did that for the last few years of Clinton's presidency. I think most of George Bush's presidency. It wasn't until the administration after that, because once George Bush Jr. came to town, one of the first things that moron did was run the U.S. deficit out of sight, just like Reagan did. And the next thing you know, the U.S. Treasury had to issue 30-year bonds again, because now the U.S. Treasury needed to raise money because the U.S. went into a ridiculous deficit. And that's how that all went down. Just a little history for you Americans and non-Americans out there. The last time the U.S. government ran a surplus, and I don't mean $1 to the positive, they just made it. I mean billions to the positive. It was under Clinton, but it was because of George Bush Sr. That's why the U.S. ran a surplus. It wasn't Clinton that made it happen. He just happened to be president at the time. But Reagan, his policies and his budgets that he came out with were so ridiculous that he blew the U.S. credibility out of the water overseas. And foreign leaders were looking at Americans going, "Why do you people hire movie stars to be presidents? These guys don't know what the hell they're doing." And well, there you go. Ronnie gave a good speech, and he was that grandfatherly figure, and he had that cowboy image that America needed that at the time. When they elected Reagan, they elected the kind of guy they needed. Unfortunately, they didn't have the guy with that persona that could run a government. That was the problem. Reagan could run. He could fill the picture. You could take a picture of the guy, but the policies were just a disaster, and America really got whacked. And the worst single day performance of the Dow Jones in the history of the stock market was under Ronald Reagan's watch in 1987. It was 22% in one day where the Dow crapped out, and back in 1987, one day under Ronnie Reagan. Unbelievable. And it was Greenspan that had to step up and correct it. Greenspan had to save everything, and he did. It wasn't Reagan that saved anything. But it's incredible how he was revered by Republicans as the savior of the Republican Party and the savior of America and all that stuff. Nope. No, the image was there. They had the great speech writers and all that, but no, it was George Bush Sr. actually that knew what he was doing. Unfortunately, George Bush Sr. wasn't running the government when Ronnie was in charge. He only had 4 years, but he got a lot done in 4 years. And then Clinton came to town and survived 2 terms incredibly, and then George Jr. 2 terms, and then Barack Obama 2 terms, and then you know who, and now Mr. Biden. So there you are. Anyway, yeah, he was a great president. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, okay. I was there. The actor? Who's vice president? Jane Wyman? Yeah, the actor? Yeah, it's not nice to speak of the dead. We used to say that about Ronnie Reagan when he was alive, because at the time people were saying it's not nice to speak like about the man. Oh yeah. Oh, you weren't there for the jokes. You weren't there. I was a broker. The jokes were brutal. Yeah, we weren't impressed. A TV studio and a handheld device. No wonder the president has to be an actor. Exactly. He was a television president. He was the perfect television president. Perfect. Yep. He fit the part. Yeah, he fit the part. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. The number of Americans that died from AIDS under his watch, shocking. And not a dime of federal money would be allowed to research it. Because it was viewed as a gay man's disease only, and that was against the church, and that was against the Republican way, and all. And so, thousands, hundreds of thousands of deaths, needless deaths, because America didn't get off its butt to research this stuff. It was European doctors that led the way in AIDS research. America dropped the ball on that one too, and that was Mr. Reagan and Nancy. It took Nancy to convince him. Took her years to get him to come around on this thing, because he just didn't believe it. He just thought, "Oh, this is a gay man's thing, and I'm not going to be the president to support the gay community." It was amazing, and Americans are dying everywhere. Non homosexual people are dying from AIDS left and right, who are catching the disease. It was just unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, war on drugs, trickle down economics, AIDS epidemic. Yep. Pretty sad. And then, of course, there was the old, is he losing his memory? The Alzheimer's thing. At that time, Alzheimer's didn't have that presence like it does now, and the wonder was, is this guy losing it? And there was a worry in year 6, the third year of his second term. The worry was, is he losing his edge? She's not so together anymore. There was some real issues there behind the scenes. Unbelievable. Oh God, it was bad. Yeah. What can I say? It is what it is, and it was what it was. Well, anyway, it is what it is. What are you going to do? I'm going to shut this show down because I'm not talking business anymore. I don't want to talk politics anymore. I want you to have a great weekend. We're going to do the meet and greet tomorrow, and people can argue with me about Reagan there. Since I'm in California, where he was from. Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here and hanging out with us today. Have a good weekend. stay safe, stay healthy, wear a mask. If you're in New York, you probably have to wear a mask. And let's get through another weekend and see what we can do Monday next week, and see if the markets will make you money. Keep an eye on GameStop over the weekend to see what if any news comes out of there. In the aftermarket, it's 159.27, up 26 cents. Not a lot happening in the aftermarket on GameStop, but it is a titch higher. The Dow ended up with a gain of 216, S&P 44, NASDAQ 113. There you go. Okay, guys. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday morning at 8:30 in the morning for another week of fun, and see if we can see if you guys can make some more money next week. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye for now.